Hello, magnificent listeners. This is Scott with Perch Points Podcast, and I'm accompanied by my brother Rob.
Howdy.
Just want to let everybody know that's loving this podcast that if you also want something along the lines of sports, fun stories, different weird scenarios, fun drops, the whole deal,
Gambling.
gambling,
Come on, don't forget gambling.
exactly,
Yeah.
and just fun
Oh,
drinking
crack another one.
stories. Come on, listen to Perch Points Podcast on Apple or Spotify and now Amazon.
Let's rally!
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Magnificent. I'm your host, Matt Sims, and today is a very special day. It is Father's Day, and I have with me the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mark Sims himself, my father. Dad, what is going on?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, well, are you excited for the fishing trip this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Been talking to everybody about it.
Are you? Okay. You feeling pretty lucky that we're going to be catching some pretty good fish?
As of the report, yes, we are going to catch some very good fish. Lots of limits, lots of size, and hey, we can even squeeze in a catfish or three. So, yeah, everything's good.
Is Grandpa going to allow us to take pictures?
Well, interesting scenario there. I just talked to him on the way over here.
Okay.
And they went out today, and there was a tournament at the marina, and they went out. Him and Jeff went out.
Okay.
Found 18 feet of water, started trolling, walked in, and won the tournament. So very good. But with the number of people we have, we're going to end up splitting up. You're going to go with Grandpa with somebody else, and then I'm going to go on Jeff's boat with Jeff, and we'll be trolling the same waters, but 5 or 6 on the boat is not conducive. So we will see what happens.
Yeah, because I figured that it would be you and, say, JT on one side, and then Zach and myself on one side, and Grandpa just drives the boat.
Well, but the problem is that boat really only fits 3 or 4 comfortably. Everybody's going to be bumping into one another. So we're going to divide up and go. And we can also
conquer.
Yeah. Absolutely. So should be a fun time.
Okay.
I haven't checked the weather to see what it's supposed to be like, but get out and get after it. And if we can't get out, then we can fish the river. And like Grandpa said, a little kid about 3 years old caught an 18-inch walleye today right across from the campground.
All right. Well, before we continue any more questions and everything like that, it is time for the dad joke of the episode. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is, I kind of think it's a good Father's Day joke, I would say. It's it's a good dad Father's Day joke. Yeah. All right. So a boy is born with no body, no arms, and no legs. He is just a head. Good thing is his dad loves him. So on his 21st birthday, he takes him to the bar and for his first drink. The boy takes a sip, and whoosh, out comes a torso. Everyone in the bar yells, "Take another sip, take another sip." So the boy does, and whoosh, out come 2 arms. He takes another sip and whoosh, out plops 2 legs. He gets so excited he runs out into the street, straight into oncoming traffic, into the path of an oncoming truck, and bang! He's killed instantly. And the bartender turns to him and to his dad and says he should have quit while he was ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting.
So, so this is your 25th Father's Day.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a special one, right?
Yeah. 25 years.
So, I mean, like I had mom on when for Mother's Day, and you know, I can say like, are there any certain memories that stick out to you with my brothers and myself? And I mean, because the interesting thing is not only are you like just a father, you are a stepfather as well. So like there's like multiple roles that you're carrying and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's many hats worn.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so let's go to what are some things that your father taught you that you carried on into fatherhood?
The hard work pays off. A job worth doing is worth doing well. Save your money. You're going to need it down the line. Be responsible, be respectful. You know, the list can go on and on and on of the things that were taught by my father to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then that's what I've tried to instill back into your generation and your brothers. And I even use it on the stepkids. You know,
Right.
I tell them all the time, a job worth doing is a job worth doing well. And, you know, to work hard and dedicate yourself and be loyal and all those things. So, you know, there's just numerous things that can be said right down the line, but, you know, you learn them at a young age and you transfer them at an older age, and, you know, you just move forward from there. So there's a lot.
Yeah. Are there any specific memories that kind of carry with you of my brothers and I when like we were little or growing up or anything like that that kind of pinpoint in your mind?
Sure. Let's see. The day I had to hurry home from work because you locked yourself in the house, and so your mom called me and said, I can't get in the house. And I said, well, tell Matt to open the door. And she goes, I've tried. He won't. He just sits there and laughs. And so I hurried home. And when I pulled in the driveway, you had already opened the door. The day that JT ran into the corner of the wall, that was memorable. The day that you hit him accidentally with the baseball bat, that was memorable. You know, Zach and JT arguing over a toy that, you know, Zach's like, well, I wish you weren't born. And I'm like, okay, now we got to put a stop to this. You know, and then just, you know, graduations from elementary school and graduations from, well, they don't do it from junior high so much, but, you know, graduations from high school and watching you guys grow up and doing what you do. You know, it's all memorable. It just depends on which context you're looking at when you need to recall it. You know.
Yeah. And you know, there are so many memories, and the cool thing is that you know you made some great points. I mean, how old was I when I locked myself in the house?
Oh, I think you were around 2.
Yeah.
Because I think your mom went out to get the mail real quick or something like that, and you just locked the door. And it was a glass door, so she could see you, but you had just went up and locked the door, and she's trying to tell you how to unlock the door, and you weren't listening, and you were just running through the house, just laughing and having a good old time. And she calls me frantically, and I was breaking some speed limits trying to get home so that you weren't in the house alone. And Yeah.
The whole time, like, mom can see me, and
Mhm.
she's like, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. She just couldn't get in the house.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So, you've definitely taught us different things. Like with hunting and fishing and stuff like that. And you've also like had stories of your own of like doing different things of like things that you like to do and with football and stuff like that. What are your kind of fondest memories like with us in doing those certain things that you like to do?
Well, you know, not necessarily coaching you in football and stuff, but going to your games and watching you and that kind of stuff. Those will always be there. And then, going up to see wing fishing. Yeah, that's awesome. The one that cracks me up often is when we went up to Atlanta and you guys got to shoot the shotguns for the first time and shooting at the pumpkins and such.
Mm.
And that was fun. And so that's always memorable. Going out up when we did the bow camp, that was memorable. Even though nothing was ever harvested, it was still fun to be up there and be out in nature and experience that kind of stuff. And I think the arrow that you let go at the dummy is probably still flying. So
Yes. Did you want to elaborate on that story?
That would be called the shot heard round the world, because I still think it is going around the world.
You want to elaborate on that story for those that don't know the story?
Well, Matt was learning how to bow hunt, but yet he was using a crossbow. And so you have to squeeze the trigger and the bolt will head out of the crossbow. Well, Matt thought that the crossbow would kick, so when he squeezed the trigger, he raised the crossbow shot over the dummy that we were shooting at, the decoy, and there goes the bolt. And so I never heard it hit anything, so that's why I keep saying that it probably is still going.
Yeah, and then one that I shot flew off the spine of the dummy and just flipped. That one was findable.
Yeah, that was. So
pretty much I'm just a bad shot.
Well, there's always room for improvement.
I am Don Knotts from Shakiest Gun in the West.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
To the can.
Yeah.
To the sign. One a skillet. One of the pants.
Yeah, that is true. So you are one through the trees, one off the spine, and then it was okay. Just aim here and squeeze. So
now it
happens.
So but the cool thing is like minus the bad shooting, like we had some interesting memories, and I wouldn't say your proudest moments of fatherhood, but everybody wanted me to talk to you about this on the show, and especially a couple of significant people, and those are good friends of mine. They wanted me to tell you about the deer camp story.
The deer camp story.
Yeah, or they wanted me to remind you of the deer camp story of when you bought me Evan Williams.
Oh,
yeah, and how I finished that whole thing in one night and had a little fun time while everybody went to sleep.
Yeah. Yes, it was not one of your shiniest moments in the world.
No.
As we are sleeping and you come stumbling in, and then you lay down, and then you go, oh no. And
I couldn't. And the funny thing is, like, I was so drunk, I didn't know how to. The tent was already shut, zipped up, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I did that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
it was trying to get out. It was the hard part. I'm stumbling with the zipper, and I'm like, open, please, God. And then I get it, no joke, halfway to the point where I can't get out. It was like I was Ace Ventura coming out of the Rhino.
Correct. You were able to get enough out so that you could do what you had to do.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was, are you finished? Get in bed.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yes,
but
that was not one of your shiniest moments.
No. And I was telling my friends, I was like, okay, well, I didn't really like for most kids, like they do dumb stuff like during high school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I said my really dumb stuff didn't happen till after high school.
Yeah, that's pretty much the truth.
And so, I was telling that story, and everybody's like, are you gonna interview your dad for a Father's Day for your podcast? I was like, yeah. They're like, tell that story. Because they were all laughing, and they're like, and one thing after the other, they're like, oh no. It just got worse and worse and worse.
Well, I do recall that I left you by the fire with your uncle until at about 10:30. I went to bed, and so I crawled in the sleeping bag, so I was sound asleep, and then you stumbled in at about 3. And when I say stumbled,
I was
stumbled in.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what had happened before that.
No.
Like, I matrixed over a fire.
Oh, good work.
I almost burnt my eyebrows off by pouring the rest of the Evan Williams into the fire, thinking that I was going to extinguish the fire. But nope. As a chemistry teacher, you should know that when you put alcohol burns, and when it burns, it whoosh. So I double checked to make sure that my eyebrows were there, and they were.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, it was those things I didn't know about. But going back and looking at it, it's funny now, but I wasn't laughing real hard when it was going on. And
no, you more said, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, nothing.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
I'm throwing up. And I went, oh.
I said that?
Yeah. Just before you turned into Mount Vesuvius. I'm throwing up, or I'm going to throw up, or something like that. And I was like, oh, geez. And then right outside the tent it was. And I'm like, are you done? Get in bed. So, yeah. But you know what? Some of those things happen from time to time, and you learn lessons as you move forward with it.
Yeah, don't drink a whole fifth in one night.
Yeah.
Or within 2 hours.
Yeah. Pace and what else am I looking for? Pace and positioning.
Yeah.
We'll just say are the keys to success.
Yeah.
Proportion control. I don't know.
Portion control, something like that. But all I know is that I learned a fine lesson that day.
Yeah. And then we had to pack up the next morning, and
you
were hungover, and
all the older guys were just shaking their head of disappointment.
Well, I don't know if it was disappointment, because most of us that were there had experienced something like that before in our lifetime. We just knew what you were going through, and
which is why you guys were giving me such a hard time about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. We have experienced it. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I could definitely say, like, going to deer camp, it was always really cool because, I mean, when I went for the first time ever, it was when we got to stay in that really big tent with the wood burner stove. Yeah.
Yep.
And I was the only one up, and I'm laying in the cot, and all of a sudden I hear an elk bugle in the distance, right?
Right.
And then literally right after that, I hear coyotes out in the distance as well.
Oh, yeah.
Calling to one another. And I thought it was the absolute coolest thing. And I go, did anybody else see that or hear that? No answer. And so I just took it for myself, and I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Well, sure. I mean, up there, you never know what you're going to hear, but that was very, very common.
Yeah.
To hear the coyotes howling and have the elk bugling, and probably at some point in time you probably heard a bobcat wail. I mean, it's just up there, it's wild kingdom.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, the really cool thing was Uncle Ty got a picture of a baby elk that was like a couple of yards away.
I used to have a picture of a 5x5 elk that walked in on me, and at about 20 yards. And I was up in my tree, and it just walked in, and I started taking pictures. So
did you have a cell phone at the time, or
yeah, it was the the flip phone version that I had way back when, 12 years ago or so,
that hung by a thread?
Well, yeah, but that was coincidental. That was just overuse,
wear and tear.
Yeah. But it wasn't broke, so I didn't want to fix it. So it was still working for me.
Yeah.
So kind of like my last one.
What was your last one?
Well, I had an accident. Phone fell out of my pocket into the couch, and I went to move the couch to get the phone, and it was between two metal brackets. So when I moved it, it curved the phone, and it was still working, but I broke the back of it, not the yeah. And so I was still using it, and then Beth found it. She goes, "What happened?" I explained, and then she got me a new one. So it wasn't charging well anyway. So now I got a new one. So it's not one of the fancy ones, but it's still a new one.
I mean, it still looks like it works, I guess. I mean, that one definitely looks like it's new, and it's small like all your other ones. So
fits in my hand. And my students ask me, "Why didn't you get the big one? Why didn't you get the new one?" I looked at them. I go, "What do I need a new one for?" I go, "It fits in my pocket. It fits in my hand. It does what it needs to do." And I said, "I'm very content with it. And I don't need to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a communication device." Simple.
The simple man, ladies and gentlemen, a very simple man. But we're going to take a really quick break, and we'll get back at it with this special edition of Father's Day. So now that we are all older, you got me moved out, you got Zach in college, JT in college, Tristan in college, Cole's graduating high school, and Kendall's about to be a junior. What have you learned over the years of having to deal with, like you've already gone through like the younger stages, right?
Right.
So now that you've gone through the ballpark a few couple swings with each kid, meaning like, you dealt with me in high school, you dealt with Zach, JT, Tristan, and then ending on Cole, and about to be, finishing up with Kendall. Are there any certain life lessons, I guess, or things that you've learned over the past 5 kids?
Oh yeah, there's lessons learned daily, but as every parent will attest, when puberty hits, the brain dies. When later puberty comes into play, the parent doesn't know anything, and is literally the dumbest individual in the world. And then miraculously, as the child gets older into adult stage, now the parent is absolutely a genius. That's what every parent knows.
Mhm.
Dealing with you, JT, Zach, prior to marriage, the second marriage, was interesting because I was basically raising you no nonsense. You were to toe a line, you were to have jobs around the house, you were to make sure that you were home on time, you were to notify me where you were, why you were there, all that stuff. And some people would claim that it was possibly too military-esque, and I was never in the military. I just believed in raising three boys. You had to take a firm line.
Mhm.
And then as I now start the second group, it's a little bit more relaxed on my end because Beth is able to take care of a lot of that, situation. And there's a definite difference between boys and girls. It's teen boys and girls.
Mhm.
And I've had to learn a lot of lessons on how to communicate effectively and how to not be so rigor oriented. And so, yeah, I mean, I learn all the time. There's times I put my foot in my mouth more than once a day. And there's times where I don't put my foot in my mouth enough. So, it's always a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, learning process, everything like that.
Correct. Yes, it is.
No, I mean, but the thing is like you're a high school teacher, like that.
Yes, it is. You would think it would be the same,
Yeah,
but it's not. It's not, because they're your own. They live with you.
yeah,
The ones that I have, I'm with them for 53 minutes and then they go.
yeah.
And yes, I'm with them 180 days and then they move on to their next set of classes the following year. Where at home, you're there all the time.
Yeah.
And it's different. Some of it's the same, but some's different. I mean, yes, but that's where all that teenager puberty, lose brain cells, that is true absolutely across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I can't give a number of times that at home or even at school, I would say it's here. Look here for something. And you guys, students, you'll be looking right at it, whatever it is that I'm telling you to look for. You'll be looking right at it and go, I can't find it. I can't even give you the number of times that has happened. It's just, it's
like in a book or something.
No, not even. I need the flathead screwdriver. It's right over there. I can't find it. I don't see it. I'd walk over and grab it real quick and go, here it is. It's on the first shelf of the refrigerator. There's nothing on the first shelf of the refrigerator. Yeah, it's right there.
Top shelf.
Sure.
Even if you
it's like I mean,
if you be most descriptive as possible.
Yeah, it's like I don't see it. It's just, but that's just teenagers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the fact that, for example, I mean, trying to get away with things, and you look at them and you go, but this really happened, didn't it? And then they look at you and go, how did you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm dumb. My IQ is 4.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I could definitely say, like, looking at, that kind of youth, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, they really are stupid. and then I question, I'm like, was I that dumb when I was that age?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, hormones do miraculous things.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's just that's just facts. And then, you could go and older individuals than I am, and you could go, well, what were your kids like? And they'll attest. Well, they were the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother laughs at me all the time, or used to, when I used to tell her, I can't believe this happened. She goes, what, you don't remember when you did it?
Mm.
That's part of growing up.
Yeah.
So that doesn't ever change. And you just look at them and go, yeah, well, you'll grow up one day.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And what's so fascinating is like, I definitely feel like you, like, if I ever tell you something like what's going on with, like, if whenever I have kids or whatever, like, and I call you up and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're never gonna believe this happened, and you're gonna just start dying laughing. I can imagine you starting to laugh, and then I'm like, stop laughing, like, this is serious.
Well, it'll be depending on the scenario, obviously.
Yeah.
But if it's something like, you're never gonna believe what he tried to do, and I'll be like, oh really? Imagine that.
Try me.
Imagine that. Has he tried this yet?
Yeah.
Well, why you say that? Because you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just, and here's the cool thing. You and I have to also talked about, like, whenever you do become a grandfather and stuff like that, that, like, you'll teach my brothers and I's kids how to chop wood and stuff like that, and put them to work and everything like that. And then what was it? I think Beth had sent me a video of you teaching Layla how to use a scope with that gun hamburger spatula.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which, that, I mean, in all honesty, that was the cutest thing. But I'm like, I'm gonna keep that.
Well, and Layla's turning 1.
Yeah.
And so, like, at Christmas time when I went over there, I picked her up and we went over the tree, and I was teaching her how to identify the tree, what kind of tree it was, and this and that, and she has no idea, but it's just in fun. But as they say, also, kids are sponges.
Yeah.
So, hey, educate them now.
Yeah, educate them at once, and then by 2, ask them, hey, do you remember what this is?
No, they won't. But you know what? It was fun for me.
No.
That's part of it.
Yeah. So with different things that each of us do, you support us in every way you can. But what are your fondest moments of, like, things that we like, cool things that we got to do, like, as of, like, JT's studying film, I'm doing my podcast, but had to go to school for broadcasting in the past. Zach's going into teaching, and Tristan is as well. I mean, what are some cool things that you could, like, kind of stand back and kind of just and be like, okay, that's pretty cool, like, that they know this knowledge and stuff like that.
Well, I don't know if you can pinpoint just that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where you sit back and you smile and that kind of stuff is the fact that all of you are growing and all of you are going to be productive members of society.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you sit back and you go, okay, we did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to have, or any of you start to have a family, and you're raising a family and you're doing it the right way, and that's when you sit back and those are your biggest accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting back going, okay, we taught them some important lessons along the way, and they'll figure some of it out on their own. They may ask for help otherwise, but that's where the big part is. And it's my opinion, and nobody on this podcast that's listening to it has to agree with me, but my opinion is that is what a parent is supposed to do. They are supposed to guide, lead, show, demonstrate what positive people in society look like, and then allow their children to become positive people in society.
And see, that's what I've been telling people. Like, with all this, stuff of shoving stuff down your throat, of like what's going on today, where it's like, you're wrong, I'm right. Like, you need to do this, and this is how life, this is how life is, and, this is how you should treat people, right? It's like, okay, instead of shoving stuff down each other's throat and trying to one up each other and everything like that.
Yeah.
Shut up and listen.
Yeah.
And then another thing is Martin Luther King said it best. Do not judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character.
Correct.
Right. So if you can judge a person not by the color of skin, not by who they want to date, who they, identify as, who they, whatever, right? But you judge them by, are they a member of society? Are they a respectful member of society? Are they do they treat others with kindness? Are they just all around good person?
Well, it comes down to two simple points: morals and ethics.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
You have individual A who is absolutely brilliant. They go to college, they get a law degree, they get, they're in medicine of some sort, research, doctor, whatever.
Right.
And then you've got person B who doesn't go to college, goes and gets a job right away, but yet is raising a family and doing it the right way. If both of them are doing what's morally and ethically correct, who cares?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying. Yes.
I actually, for a while in education, it was forced down that, we were preparing you for college. You got to go to college. You got to go to college. Got to go to college.
Yes.
I have a graduate of mine who didn't go to college. Is currently working in a metal fabrication facility. He's 22 years old. He owns his own house. He owns 30 acres of land with said house. He has lots of toys and all that stuff. And he makes about $85,000 a year.
Right.
At 22 years old, that's a good chunk of change.
Yep.
He works hard, but then, who's to say that, Joe Schmo, who's highly educated, is going to raise children to be productive members of society. They're not just going to be spoiled brats and expect everything handed to them on a silver platter,
Yeah.
And that's not the way the world works.
Right.
So it all comes down to morals and ethics. That's where it's at.
Yeah. And I mean, and just all around, just treating people with, with kindness in a sort of way. Like, unless they do something onto you, just try and, because you don't know what somebody's going through on a day, know?
You don't.
And if you can just show a little bit of kindness, and it will go a long way, and everything like that.
How about kindness and respect?
And respect as well. Yeah.
And that's another problem that's going on in today's society, is the lack of respect.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to respect yourself if you can't respect others.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Everybody wants to become an Instagram model or a social media YouTube star and stuff like that. I mean, granted,
don't even get me started on social media.
Well, it's your show, so let's get it going.
Demoralizing the human species, social media. I have to Well, since it's my podcast, I'll say
Well, it's
it.
my podcast, your episode.
Well, my episode. Yeah.
We're-
Snapchat, Instagram, all that stuff, Facebook. I mean, I'm guilty. I had Facebook for a while,
Which the
but-
hilarious thing is like you still have your profile, but you never deleted it because you forgot your password.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
But and the hilarious part is people are still tagging you and stuff.
Isn't that fun?
That's the funny part.
That's what happens when you're popular, I guess. But no, all of that stuff. I mean, it's stuff we deal with every day in education, where this kid can't talk to this kid face to face because he's got to do it through Snapchat, Instagram, or any other doggone thing they've got. And it's easy. It's easy to be, this guy and this guy, because you can do it and you don't even have to see them face to face, but you get them face to face and they can't say 3 words. They're it's all, I don't know. It's one of those things where social media, in my opinion, is ruining society.
Now, do you feel like when COVID happened that like that was kind of like the tipping point of like to where social media became such a social anxiety kind of form?
And anxiety,
I wouldn't say social anxiety. What is it? What is it called?
social outlet.
Well, to where as you were saying, like people can't talk face to face,
Right.
and when they do, they become all stuttery, and they have just social anxiety and everything like that. Do you feel like once COVID hit and people couldn't talk truly face to face, do you think that was kind of like the tipping point for like today's youth or young people? Or
Well, I mean, I don't think it helped. I think that, it's been building. I mean, every time a new app comes in where something happens, text came into play, and then, Instagram and Snapchat and I'm going to take a picture and it won't save. And, that's big,
Yeah.
because you can be Snapchatting away, and if it doesn't save, there's no proof unless they're able to, FBI-esque and get, deep into the
database. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I just think that society would be much better off without all these social media things.
Mhm.
But that also may be the fact that I'm 54 years old. I don't have any and I don't want any.
Mhm.
I could be throwing my bias at it,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, like, everybody's opinion does matter and has a good point, to a certain extent, like to what you're saying. Totally get it. Totally get it. Do I still use social media? Yeah,
Of
I
course
have.
you do.
I have to.
you're 25.
I'm 25, but also I have to.
I mean, do I send text messages? Yes. Do I make phone calls? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I need to put my life on the internet, and my political views and all that kind of stuff on Facebook and stuff? No, I don't need to do that.
Right.
If you want to know, give me a call. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
or meet me face to face. I'll tell you my political views. I'm okay with that too.
Right. Political or like life views, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one thing that my students always say, I shoot everything straight.
Yeah.
Like it, don't like it, it doesn't matter. I shoot it straight to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not going to lie to you
Yeah.
because I don't have time to lie. I'm not a politician. I don't get paid a lot of money to lie, so I'm not going to lie to you. And they always laugh at it too. So I'm
Right.
like, think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, in a way, I feel like sometimes, people should, carry themselves like that to where they should, they should shoot it straight and, just.
Okay, yes. But the problem is society wants everything sugar-coated.
And that's another thing too, to where it's like that sugar coatedness and everything has to be flawless and perfect and, and everything like that, to where it's just like, it's almost disgusting.
Well, it is, but I mean, in certain situations, yes, you do have to have some tact and some couth. But in other situations, hey, tell the truth. And
Yeah.
if people don't like it, they just don't like it. But they can't really have any grounds or basis to shun you for it because it's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just something. I don't know. But to change the subject, so there's this one photo of you and I when we were fishing. It was when I was really little. Have you found that photo yet?
No, I have to admit that life usually gets in the way and I don't find that photo. But it's in a bin. It's downstairs in the basement in a bin. I know it is. I just have to look for it. And
Okay.
with 6 children, a wife, 2 dogs, 3 cats, a pool, life, a job, the whole load. Yeah, I will find the picture. I know that it still exists.
Okay. Hasn't vanished into thin air.
No, it has not vanished in thin air when you're standing right next to me with your orange life jacket on.
Yes.
No,
He knows the exact
I
photo.
know the exact photo. I even know what it's in as far as frame goes. I just have to find it.
Oh man. Now, okay, so there's that. That's one of my favorite photos. What are your favorite photos from like of you and I, of Zach and you, or JT and you, or anything like that, or of all, even of all of the 4 of us, or or if you want to say including if you want to include Beth in this, we can do that too.
Well, actually, the best photo that I know of is the photo of the 8 of us in front of the barn that we took. That is the ultimate photo for me.
Yeah.
That is everybody involved standing in front of this beautiful white barn, and we were all present, and we, had that photo session taken. And so that one's the most important to me.
Right.
I mean, yes, the quilts that you guys have showing kindergarten all the way through your senior year. I mean, all that's all important stuff.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that doesn't go away. I mean, I've always said, and Beth will attest, that I don't really enjoy getting my picture taken, but there are certain occasions where I'll say, okay, yeah, and this photo is, there.
Mm-hmm.
So I will admit that, a lot of the photos of when you guys were young and things don't exist any longer. I mean, I have some, but I don't have a lot.
Right.
But, just, that photo, the photo that you represent, or that you are talking about, yeah, it exists somewhere. It's with all the other photos in a bin,
Right.
somewhere in the basement. I just have to find it. But no, the most meaningful one is the one of the 8 of us.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we should get an update of it? Because if you think about it, Zach, let me think. Did Zach have a beard during that time?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think he did.
JT
I'm trying to
didn't
look.
either.
Yeah, I'm trying to look on my wall. No, Zach had like a goatee going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But JT didn't have his facial hair going at the time.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like all, and plus, like Cole's got his mop head of a hair kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, should we? I mean, we probably should here in another 2 years.
Yeah, because that's how old?
Well, that was taken, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
So, I mean, in a couple years,
Cole's
Kendall,
grown. Kendall's grown.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody's gotten older and now looks older. And I'll be honest, my hair, not the greatest. Not the greatest.
Now or then?
Then my hair is flawless now. Like, I got so many compliments yesterday.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna stick with this for a while. So
Hey,
Nice. I mean, grandma would appreciate it. I would say that.
Yeah.
Grandma would appreciate it because it's nice, short, clean cut, very nice looking.
Yeah.
She'll just tell me to shave my face, but that's not going to happen.
right.
So,
Well, I think she's given up on that pipe dream too. so.
yeah, yeah. I mean, beards are coming back. Beards are coming back.
Beards are very big right now.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I just don't grow mine out.
Which I really think you do. I really think you should.
No, I will look like Santa Claus.
So nothing's wrong with that. You want to do it during, you want to do it during December, you can do that.
No,
Make a little extra cash saying ho, 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 and Merry Christmas and all that fun
Start
stuff.
it in No Shave November and work it in financially in December. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, making money moves. Let's do this.
Yeah, they pay big money for, surprise Santa Clauses and stuff.
Yeah, just go to Bronner's, get yourself a suit. You don't even have to buy the wig.
No, because the hair's already gray.
Exactly. So you can automatically just, not even get a beard or anything like that. Just grab the hat and everything else.
Sure. Give me an excuse to add more weight on. Sure.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying just add a pillow in there, like normal people.
I've been there, done that on the t-shirt.
What, dressing up like Santa?
Mm-hmm.
You dressed up like Santa?
Absolutely.
When was this?
This was in 1991. And I did it for a grocery store that your grandmother worked at. They were having Visit Santa Day, and they had nobody that would play Santa. And this is prior to my gray hair. So, yes, I had to wear the wig, and I had to tape the beard on. And
1991, you were in your early 20s.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was Santa Claus in the grocery store for the day. I think I made a whopping $50 out of the deal.
Ooh, $50. $50 was a lot.
No, it wasn't. It was not a lot.
It was gas money.
It was. Gas money and a little fuel in the stomach, and $50 was gone. Now it wouldn't even get you a full tank of gas. So
I know, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Where you're like, tank of gas. But we're gonna take one more quick break, and then we're gonna ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll close it out.
Cool.
Okay, so to all the new fathers out there, what advice could you give to these new up and coming fathers? Maybe who have 1-year-olds, maybe who have newborns, maybe who have, toddlers running around.
Be patient. Be kind. Be demanding, but yet be accepting. And do the best job you can. Because contrary to popular belief, when the baby comes out, there is no training manual that comes with it. So you're going to make mistakes. You learn as you go, and just realize that, hey, this is part of you and always will be.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a good quote. Well, you heard it first. Quote that one and put it in a book.
Sure. Right off the top of my head. Boom. There it comes.
So, I mean, okay, what about let's see. Like with fathership, like or fatherhood, I don't know how you would call it. You and I have always said like to like the difference between like what is it, like a father, a dad, and
oh yeah, I know where you're going.
A sperm
with
donor with that.
Right.
How does that go again?
That's yes, a father, a dad, or a sperm donor. Yes,
Right,
exactly.
Right. So and then which one is which? And there in the interesting is over time, like I've heard like a different argument on it.
Well, I mean, I think that, a father is someone who nurtures, and teaches, leads, and that kind of stuff. A dad is somebody who takes a vested interest, but yet takes more of a hands-off approach to the important things in life. And then a sperm donor is just somebody that did exactly what the words say. They donated sperm and have nothing to do with it anymore. So
Right.
took the responsibility and dumped it in the toilet.
Yeah. And now the argument is that you just flip dad and father.
Well, there's sometimes where you're a dad and there's sometimes where you're a father, and those kind of terms are somewhat interchangeable, but a father is the guiding force for who you turn out to be.
Yeah.
And dad is more of a term where, I mean, it's said in today's society, he's the fun dad. It doesn't say he's the fun father.
Yeah.
He's the fun dad.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I'm a cool dad.
Yes. I'm a cool father. No, you're not a cool father. You're not. If you're a father, you're going to make tough decisions. And if you're, they're not always going to be the right ones. And, it's just like anything.
And, I'm sure you've had to make, tough decisions as a father and, everything like that. And I mean, I can definitely say like, like being a single father, like for quite some time, like I'm not sure if you want to get into that, but I figured, for those that are also going through the same thing to where, with single fatherhood, it's tough, and
yeah, you do the best you can. I mean,
like for any single parent,
Sure. And when you've got, kids that are just beginning teenagerhood,
right.
Yeah, it's extremely tough.
Yeah.
And no, you don't always make the right choices. And no, you don't, but you do the best job you can. And, you weigh the consequences and that kind of stuff, and you make decisions. But that's what people do in life in general, or at least they should.
Yeah.
Just you make decisions and you stick with those decisions. I mean, perfect story. You wanted to go to somebody's house for some sort of party. It was supposed to be a birthday party. And so I dropped you off and I said, is the parent home? And you said, well, they're on their way. And so I dropped you off and I sat in the car and waited. And an hour and 15 minutes later, the parent never ever showed up. So I proceeded to give you a phone call. And I said, this party is over for you. There is no parent. And I'm not waiting around any longer. Get in the car and let's go home. And you said, no, they're on their way. They're on their way. I go, no. Get in the car. We're going home. And yeah.
When was this? I don't remember this.
When you were a freshman. It was somebody's supposed birthday party and everybody was in the backyard. And you had boxing gloves on with somebody and I watched the whole thing from the car and the parent never showed up and I called you and I said, the party's over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember
the party's over. Let's go.
Yep. I remember now.
So, that's one of those decisions. Yeah, I could have, been the fun dad and said, hey, go have a good time.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a parent there and no, you're going back home.
Yeah.
Sorry. I hope you enjoyed your hour and 15 minutes of party time.
Yeah, now that it's coming to me, when you said boxing gloves, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the backyard. Yep, I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't know why those came out, but who knows? That was
Well, again, you were in ninth grade, which would put you at about 14 years of age.
14,
and,
15, so
you
about
know,
over 10
and,
years ago.
and the fact that, those hormones take over and you just weren't smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
So,
okay, so you and I have had this discussion to where dealing with our friends and now you're like, I'm too old for this. You are literally sounding like what's his name? Glover.
Danny Glover?
Yeah, you're sounding like Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon.
Mm.
I'm too old for this shit.
Mhm.
So like with of course with my step siblings friends, you're like, I can't stand them.
Well, that's not true. That is not totally true.
It's the teenagers thing.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And, some of them are very, very nice people. I mean, yesterday, Cole had some buddies over.
Mhm.
And yeah, I went in the kitchen and was shooting the bull with them and stuff,
Right.
But there are some out there that I just look at and go, you can make better choices.
Yeah. And which is is there any, I mean, with any of our friends like JT, Zach, myself, like did you have that kind of same mindset or?
Yeah, absolutely. That's being a parent.
Yeah.
That you look at who they are, and if you talk to them and stuff, yeah, you can look at them and automatically you can say they're not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that you should associate with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think all parents do that.
Now, what cracks me up is like there are some kids that you did not like, but their parents loved me to where they were like, "Oh, you're so good for my kid." And I think we might know who that person is. He's doing very well for himself right now.
Right, but okay.
But
all right, but let's take it out of the hot seat, right? It wasn't that I disliked him. It wasn't.
No.
It was the fact that I didn't like some of the things that he did.
Yeah.
Right? As he started to grow up, he started to make better choices.
Yeah.
So he became more tolerable.
Yes.
But, early on, yeah. It's like, no, what are you doing? No. So, yeah.
And what cracks me up is that one time when we were in football together and you had and you were showing like some type of offensive moves, right, of how to pivot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was when I think it was around like sophomore year, I want to say.
Yeah. It was in the backyard by the pool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, he you knocked him over and he goes, "Okay, hold on." Puts on his shoulder pads and his helmet and he goes, "All right, let's go again."
Yeah.
One of my fondest memories of you, myself, and one of my friends was when Chris and I we were like it was around when testosterone was high. Him and I were bickering back and forth, and then him and I started wrestling on the floor, about to go for blows, to each other with fists. And then you come running up the stairs, grab us both by the collars of our shirts, and set us on both separate couches.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah, it's been an interesting ride. It really has. But that was back when I was also single and solo and having to make decisions and do things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, you do the best job you can. And that was an interesting time.
Yes.
But what's also interesting was when I separated you two, neither of you tried to get back at one another, and that was probably a safe choice.
What do you mean back at one?
Meaning that even though I separated you, you didn't try to get back at one another as far as to start wrestling and tussling again.
Oh no, we knew we were done.
Yeah, that was probably a very.
We knew we
choice.
were done. But I mean, because we were telling stories about him, and I came up with a couple others and everything like that. But yeah, that's one that I'm gonna just keep in my back pocket for whenever he gets married and whenever Chris gets married. So, but yeah, that's just gonna be the most interesting best man speech ever. But other than that, so you are excited though for Father's Day weekend? I mean, it's not just one day; it is a whole weekend.
Yep, I am. We're gonna have to figure out when we're leaving, who's driving the whole load, and then get up there and get the tent set up, get everything in there, and start fishing right away if we can.
Yeah,
and not necessarily on the boat the first night, but fishing in the river, that's cool also.
Yeah,
it's a fun time.
Yeah,
so
and then
should be fun.
Yep, that should be fun.
And then
any plans on what's going to be for dinner? What's going to be for dinner and breakfast and all that fun stuff?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be your usual eggs, bacon, and sausage and stuff for breakfast, and then lunch, whatever you want. And then I think for dinner, I think we're going to do stuffed burgers one night, and I think we're going to do fish another night.
Okay.
So I think that's the way we've got it planned.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be cooking over the fire most of it and letting the good times roll, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Now, what about the neighbor girls? Are you looking to get your butt kicked by them and get your money taken away and all that fun stuff?
No, I'm poor, and so I only have a certain amount of disposable income. But yeah, we might play some cards. Who knows? I'm not going to make any plans. I mean, it's Sugar Festival. The parade's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
If we decide to go to the parade, that's fine. If we go fishing, that's fine too. The fireworks on Saturday night are going to be off the deep end as they usually are, and it's going to be good.
Okay.
It's going to be good.
All right.
So we'll get after it. Hopefully, catch a bunch of fish and eat some good food and have some good times, and then come home on Sunday. And the good thing about next Monday is I don't have to go to work.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Summer vacation has started.
Even though I got to work that Sunday night and
Mhm.
also play softball and all that stuff. So
Sure.
that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't have to. I get to start getting ready for the grad party and all the fun that goes with that.
Yeah, that's what you get to do. So,
Mhm.
and then so that's all in all, it's going to be a good weekend, I think, and it's going to be just all around fun. And for all those listening, if you're wondering what exact picture is Matt talking about, well, I will also post that not only with my dad's photo on the podcast Facebook and Instagram, but I will also put that picture that I am talking about that we have gone back and forth with on occasion. So, Dad, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Hopefully we catch some pretty good ones. Hopefully you catch some pretty good ones for Father's Day weekend, and we get some awesome pictures, awesome memories, and then we'll have more to talk about.
Well,
stuff like
the
that.
good part is too, we'll have 3 generations in the same camp. So
Yep.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a big thing, and definitely things that to hold on to and
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
Absolutely. Make memories, and then you can share them later.
Well, right. Well, Dad, again, happy Father's Day, and to all the gentlemen who are listening who are fathers, happy Father's Day to you as well.
Wow.